Hey guys, I'm going to be sharing with you my super simple recipe to make the easiest and creamiest mashed potatoes. It doesn't require any special equipment, just a potato masher, and it is sure to be the creamiest mashed potatoes and the easiest mashed potatoes that you can put together. We're going to start off with some russet potatoes that I have here. I am using about 5 medium-sized potatoes for this recipe in this amount. And I've washed them and I have peeled them. Now, if you follow these couple or few little steps that I use, you don't really need any special equipment or any kind of special anything to make a really creamy mashed potato. The first step is to cut your potatoes up in really, really small pieces. I'm going to cut them up in about 1 inch by 1 inch sizes. That's going to be my first tip, is cut your potatoes up into really small pieces, about 1 inch by 1 inch or so. I know normally people will cut them up much bigger, but this is my definitely first most important tip to making a good creamy mashed potato. I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting up all of my potatoes here, and it really doesn't matter what type of potatoes you use, but I usually use russet potatoes because that's usually what I have on hand. I also have a pot with some water that I just put on the stove, so I'm just going to go ahead and take my potatoes and just place those into my pot. My water's not boiling or anything yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and place my potatoes in my water. My heat is about on medium, and my next very important tip is to let your potatoes boil for at least about 30 minutes. I'm going to give this a gentle stir, and I'm just going to let this boil for 30 minutes. Now, it does seem like a long time because the potatoes are already cut into small pieces and will be finished cooking in about 15 minutes or so. But I want these to become as tender as they possibly can, so I let it go for about 30 minutes. Trust me, just let the potatoes boil away in the water for at least 30 minutes or so on medium heat. Check on it every 15 minutes maybe. I don't even give it a stir. I just make sure nothing's boiling over or anything like that. I don't have my pot covered, so it's just going to go ahead and boil away for about 25-30 minutes, 35 minutes or so. And I don't really stir it because I don't want to break up my potatoes, but I want them to become super tender. And this is a time of year where potatoes are really an important dish in most stews, side dishes, Thanksgiving. So definitely it's great to have a perfect mashed potato recipe like this. As you can see, my potatoes hold their shape beautifully, and it's really nice and super tender. At this point, I'm going to take my heat off, and I'm going to go ahead and drain out all that excess water. Make sure I get as much of that water out as possible. And then we'll move on to our next step. All the amounts that I've used will be listed below in the description box for you. If you want to double this, you can definitely double this recipe or triple it. So I'm going to go ahead and drain out all of that water. And then I'm going to get my little handy dandy potato masher and just go ahead and mash my potatoes. Now, this is not no fancy schmancy anything. You don't need any kind of presser or anything for this. Just a regular old potato masher. I'm going to go ahead and mash my potatoes. I'm going to take about 2 minutes and really mash it as fine as I can. Just get everything, even mash it over just a couple minutes or so, and you can already see how just smooth those potatoes are coming out because they're already super tender, and they were cut into such small pieces that I don't have to worry about extra lumps here and there. Now, a lot of people like to use an extra bowl to do this step, to heat up their milk and butter and all that before they add it in. I'm a mom. I really don't want to dirty any extra dishes, guys. I really don't want to. If you want to go ahead and use an extra pot, go right ahead. To me, I'm going to go ahead and use the same pot, less dishes to worry about. I'm going to push all of my potatoes to the side of the pot and make a nice well in the center of the pot. Turn my heat back on to medium, and I'm going to go ahead and add in my milk. Now, if you want, you can definitely use heavy cream, the same amount of heavy cream, or even half and half if you want it to be more richer. I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit lighter and use milk, whole milk. I also have some unsalted butter and some cream cheese softened at room temperature, and I'm going to go ahead and add that into my milk. My heat again is on medium, and I'm going to go ahead and let these melt down, let the milk warm up and the butter melt down, as well as the cream cheese kind of melt down in there. Just going to take my potato masher and kind of help it along a little bit. And once it mostly gets melted down, I'm just going to start incorporating everything together and mashing it all together and stirring it to incorporate everything together. It may look really liquidy at first, but what's great about this is it's going to be a really light, creamy, fluffy mashed potatoes. You don't want to dry mashed potatoes, I think. So it's going to be super creamy and fluffy, and as it cools, it's going to dry out just a little bit, but it'll have just the perfect amount of moisture in there. Mix that all together, and then I'm going to season this with salt and pepper. You can see that even though it's nice and creamy, it is holding its shape beautifully. So it's not going to be hard and dry. It's going to be soft and moist, but still holds its shape beautifully. Going to season it to your liking, and much salt and pepper as you want. And you can even add in a dollop of sour cream, which adds lovely flavor as well to mashed potatoes. I sometimes do add sour cream to this. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. I will have everything listed below in the description box for you. I'm just going to go ahead and season this up with salt and pepper, mix that in, and it's done. Mashed potatoes are one of the easiest things that you can make. Just follow the few simple little steps. You already have to cut them, you already have to boil them. Just put a little bit more extra detail into it, and you've got perfect, creamy, smooth, soft, fluffy, light, airy. Can I go on? I probably can. Mashed potatoes. It's delicious. It is perfect side to Thanksgiving and really anything. Can't go wrong with mashed potatoes. You can garnish it with some fresh herbs or some dried oregano. And that's it, guys. All the amounts and everything I will have listed below in the description box for you. And I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in my next recipe. Bye-bye now.